Now, before we start discussing the games this week, guys, I wanted to have a little bit of a short discussion versus about fixture chess versus attacking what's in front of you. And this is something I made a conscious decision 3-4 game weeks ago, not to get too drawn up into the fixtures. And it's a question I'm asking myself this week as well, as I search for my Trent replacement. Because again, looking at game week 29, now the teams are looking, now Villa have just lost Kamara. They're looking weaker now at both ends of the pitch. How much do we prioritize our transfers to game week 29 now? Somebody like Gabriel, Arsenal defense, these guys are racking up points. They have good fixtures the next 4 game weeks. How much do we ignore that and just now get a guy because he has a confirmed fixture in 29? There has to be a balance we have to find there, right? So, Pras, I'll come to you first. You are the Kasparov of fixture chess.
Look, I think you have answered the question that if you're comparing between a a West Ham defender or even a Brentford defender versus an Arsenal defender, one more fixture is meaningless, right? I mean, right now the numbers that Arsenal are showing, it is irrelevant. So whenever people plan for these things, I think there's a balance that you need to find between what am I chasing now versus am I setting up right for the future. So a good example is this week. Let's say you have a free Liverpool slot and a free Arsenal slot, Liverpool and a Man City slot, and you're looking for a defender. Now, you could say, okay, Van Dijk is a great option, but then you should also remember that he blanks in the next game. Maybe Ake could be better because he plays this week, equal potential. Now we'll talk about the Guardiola injury, and also plays 26. So there is a balance to it. In certain cases, you should remember it. 29 is far, man. I mean, if you're now thinking about Arsenal players blanking, they couldn't Chelsea could lose and they could even have a game. So I'm with you, where I think you should give a lot more weightage to the near term and doubles even more so.
LR, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing fixture chess, what are the routes open to you right now? Liverpool, Aston Villa, Robinson from Fulham, and Alfie Doughty. And you're going to weigh that against an Arsenal defender versus a City defender that you're likely going to buy right now, right? You weigh that up and then make a decision. We're going to dive deeper into trend replacements later, but I think I agree with what Pras said. 29 is a far bit away. And almost when you're weighing up clean sheets and attacking returns right now, as things stand, Arsenal defender 4 games is what 6-7 games for a Luton defender or something of that sort, because they're the only team capable of posting clean sheets. Even though they're not consistently posting clean sheets, the numbers are just staggering.
Yeah, I mean, you see the chances they're getting of these set pieces. Tony Pulis is weeping just looking at this. It's incredible. Every game, it looks like the defenders are going to score a goal.
If you can open the fixture ticker, I think it's just a good time to, start with Trent replacements because we're like already in the midst of covering that. So it might be a good idea to just, steamroll with that.
Yep.
Well, first, does Trent need replacing is the question.
Yeah, exactly. What's your thoughts in terms of what we'll hear from Klopp on Friday? What will make you push the button?
I mean, you guys are owners, so Zoff, you go first.
So the latest news, we've heard that Trent wasn't in training. We don't know the extent of the injury. Klopp didn't mention anything in his press conference. So we can assume that he's not going to feature midweek. So I think even if he's thereabouts in the squad for the weekend, I think the chances of him playing both games with the cup final on the weekend are very, very, very slim. I just don't see any reason for Klopp to risk him when there's so much of the season ahead and you have able deputies. Now Gomez is fit. Bradley is back training with the squad. I think Trent is quite easily a sell this week, even if Klopp indicates that he's fit enough to be in the squad this week. And I'll go as far to say that.
Yeah, I concur with Zoff because firstly, I'm fully expecting him to give like a almost there, not there kind of situation because it's the nature of the injuries. A reoccurrence is always a little bit of a problem. Yeah. That's something that makes me pause, tread cautiously when it comes to this player. So I think irrespective, I'm leaning towards sell unless, he shows up in training pictures tomorrow, day after, and Klopp says everything's fine. It was a small thing. We gave him 1 day as of right, and he's fine. Like I need a very positive press conference from Klopp to consider not selling.
I mean, there's one school of thought. I mean, firstly, also for people to know, they are the early kickoff. So there is a good likelihood, just like Man City. Unfortunately, this is the world we live in, right? So there's a good likelihood that we will get some kind of an indication if Trent is starting or not. I guess the question isn't, is he a sell? Could he be a hold? Because let's say if he's on the bench on Saturday, what do you guys do? You sell still? Or do you say, I'm just going to hold because he could play Luton?
It depends on what it funds you. I think most of the people have a lot of money tied up in Trent. You can get at least 3 million out of that can make a Palmer into a Jota or into a Saka. I think if you sold Saka last week, you just buy him back. You bite the bullet this week, you ignore the guys who have the doubles. Because at this point, most of the doublers, bar Man City, they have the same number of fixtures as the Arsenal guys. It's just 2 games over the next 2 game weeks. So I think if it funds a move, you definitely make it.
And a little bit of future forecasting, you're going to need 9.5 million odd in 27 if you're going to buy Son as well. So this is where you generate that cash.
But you could sell Trent in 26. Question is, do you use up a transfer? I mean, transfers are precious at this stage. Now, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just scenario planning a little bit. What if he's what if he's in the starting lineup? What if he's on the bench? And what if he's not?
If he's in the starting lineup, you roll with him.
I think then you can hold. Then worst case, you get like 1.5 games.
Yeah.
You hope.
On the bench, you would
look on it. Like generally, I feel like people who would have a difficult route to KDB and Trent this week and don't own either have a little bit gotten away with, because Trent was looking sensational in those first 45 minutes. I was watching that game and I'm like, dude, Trent's back. Like he looks so on it. So that's where we are. But only way I hold him is if he's in a league starting lineup. Otherwise, that's it, sir.
I'd agree, because even the bench doesn't necessarily mean he's going to start midweek.
Yeah, possible. That's where I wanted to basically just tease it out so people have this. Well, this basically says, guys, don't rush your transfer if you have Trent. And secondly, just have your scenarios in mind. I agree with you guys. If he's on the bench, I think you can still sell him because he could again be on the bench, get another 30 minutes on Wednesday, and then maybe be okay for the final, or maybe even continues to be managed. So I agree.
So should we talk about defenders before Salah? Let's go through the defenders we have shortlisted.
Yeah, just let's like do top 3 and just generally what our thoughts are. Now, if you're looking for firstly, I think all 3 of us are in concurrence, right? And we're talking about a team that in the last 6 matches has conceded about 2.83 xG compared to 4.56 xG next best. And we're talking about Arsenal here. They're just playing such a tight, not giving any small inch to an opposition also. And it's just not that, right? 16 Premier League goals scored this season in set pieces by Arsenal. And, it's that summer camp that they had. They've just been monstrous. Winter camp that they had, right? Rice has been taking half the set pieces and they just look good for a goal every 4 or 5 games. It's 45 or 46% of Arsenal's goals this season have been scored from set pieces. That's a huge number. You can't ignore that, and you just have to play that. And it's not like the fixtures are difficult either right now for Arsenal. They've got Burnley away, Newcastle at home, Sheffield United away, Brentford at home. I see 2 or 3 clean sheets. Maybe you spike a goal. It's just if you have an Arsenal slot open, that's where I'd go first.
I think if you want Gabriel, obviously, I think it's a bit of a higher priority than Saliba. Even the data I had a look at over here in terms of the XG over there, expected goal involvement this is for defenders over the last 6 game weeks. Gabriel's right on top. And you have to keep in mind for him, it's all XG. Most of these other guys you're seeing is assist. Goals are big for defenders, but most of the time it's like 6 plus whatever bonus, etc. they get. So his numbers are like 7 shots inside the box in the last 6 game weeks. Is pretty crazy.
I mean, I completely agree. As a double defense owner, having benched Saliba for both his goals, it's just a question of sometimes there's other opportunities where you can't play the double, when we can't play both, because there's others good defenders too, like the Liverpool guys, the Man City, the Trippiers, the Poros. So I think having 2 now for the run-in, if that's your best alternative, is a decent option. But then there's others. It really gets into team-dependent category, right? I mean, why not, now that we know that Guardiola is out for the double and potentially for game week 26, I think Ake becomes like as good a City defender as you can own.
It's still a City defender though. I still personally it depends, I guess, if he's a 4th defender where you can potentially have a good backup option, but I just don't trust Guardiola with his defense rotation.
And not even the rotation, right? Did you see the game yesterday? I think it needs to be cited how much of a down season Edison is having this year. He's just not as secure as he used to be. He played the ball on the platter to the opposition from which they scored a goal, right? He's had a massive downturn in form. And I just don't know. I think there's a little bit of a spillover effect where he's just not making many saves at the moment. So That said, Ake is a decent short-term bet because it's City. They're going to control the games. What are the fixtures that we're looking at for City, right? We're talking about Chelsea, Brentford, Bournemouth, United, Liverpool. They're not exactly clean sheet fixtures also. Like Chelsea, Brentford, Bournemouth, United, Liverpool, all fairly attacking teams. How secure do you feel about cleans? If you put me on the spot, I prefer an Arsenal defender to a City one.
I do, and I
With
still
one
prefer
game.
Walker to Ake. I just thought Walker was so attacking, and he really unlocks Foden. And these games, I think he will trust Walker because these are teams who can counter attack. That being said, I still wouldn't go for either, but if I had to pick one between the two, it's still Walker for me.
Walker's notion attack, yeah, those off. Like
Oh.
he holds position high up the pitch, but his decision making in the final third has always been rubbish. You always get the one amazing volley shot from outside the box that goes in the back of the net from Walker. But that happens once a season. Outside of that, maybe 1 or 2 assists he'll give, but he's not much creative. He holds position high up the pitch, but I'd much rather bet, especially when De Bruyne's the guy on set pieces and delivering them, for Ake to probably get on the back of them.
I guess
I
he's
also
just so
slightly
attacking.
think
I thought he was so attacking when he came on, though, against Everton. He was in the box a lot. That's
Agreed.
what
I mean,
I'm
shout out to Raptor in the chat. He's saying Akanji has played left back in previous seasons, so it has happened. So he's not 100%. I mean, I think we agree. City, nobody is 100%.
Because there's even Stones now. Stones is in the picture as well.
Left-footed, I think they had Guardiola, they had Ake, and he strongly prefers a left-footed guy there. So Diaz has played left centre back in the past. Akanji has played there. It's team dependent. It comes with the Pep risks. So look, I think good point. But I just wanted to say, I think Ake, given yesterday's events, has pretty much gone up for me in terms of a player to buy this.
I'd agree that he's gone up in the estimate. That I do agree with that.
Also, shout out to Nigel the Crab, who has joined as a member. So thank you. Welcome, Nigel.
Nice. Let's talk about alternative options, right? We've covered Arsenal, City. Let's talk Liverpool. Is it too premature to go with a Robbo? He looked pretty good in that last game, especially in the second half. You know, it reminded me of Rob, especially once Trent went off injured. The attacking impetus was with Robbo, and he was taking up some great positions high up the field. You've got 3 options from Liverpool. You've got secure 90-minute every game potential Donga or Van Dijk, or Van Dijk, as we call him on the quad.
Just to clarify, that was a joke, right? Otherwise, people will comment.
Then
people know. OG listeners know.
People know.
OG listeners
People know. Then there's Robbo, who showed potential to look fairly attacking, who you think will take set pieces from one side at least now, because you might not have Trent taking set pieces now. And Szoboszlai, we don't know is fit anymore. Was he in the injury? Was he in the training video yesterday?
No, I don't think he was.
No. And then there is, if you want to go uber cheap, and especially it's a good strategy because you're not going to need a Liverpool spot until you probably wildcard, right? Uber cheap, park the funds, go with Bradley just for the double, so that you have money left for upgrading your other spots. What are your thoughts on these 3?
Van Dijk easy for me.
I've just spoken to a lot of Liverpool fans, and they think Robbo doesn't start the Luton game. He could, and he has the highest upside if he does, but you're taking a minute's risk, and he does blank again. It just feels like if you're going Liverpool and money shouldn't be an object, right? I mean, unless you're funding it with a hit like some people are thinking about with getting a De Bruyne or a Jota, then money shouldn't be an issue because you will be selling Van Dijk, at least like people like me. You will be getting out of your Liverpool next week. So I think if money is no object and it isn't, you want to get your bite at the cherry, especially for the Luton at home game, then I think Van Dijk is just very good. Highest upside, maybe even Bradley. But again, you're just risking it. You're risking it that he misses one or Gomez.
If I give you the scenario that Bradley is starting through a leak on the game on Saturday at 4.1 million, I think you probably go for it then, because it's also not spending a transfer in the future. If you're getting a 4.1 Bradley, right, you don't need to take cash out of that position. Now that position is a dead position until you wildcard. You probably get to play him in 27 against Forest anyway. You never know if Trent's injury is a long-term injury, right? I don't think it's a bad shot if you get the news through a leak that Bradley's starting on Saturday.
I guess if he's your 4th or 5th defender, but what I just want to preach to everyone is don't buy flaky picks in defense or something. I noticed earlier on in the seasons that defenders aren't getting points. Guess how many defensive transfers I made this season in total?
Very few.
5?
4. And therefore, like Tsimikas, Trent, Gabriel, and Porro. All four are high upside
Exactly.
guys from the top teams, right? And ultimately, the reason why I'm saying that whoever you get now, just assume that he's going to be in your team now till whenever you wildcard, whatever your horizon is, 30, 31. So get guys who are consistent for game time, more so than anything else. I don't like flaky picks like Bradley.
But the thing is, let me make a case to you. You're not going to need a transfer out for Bradley until wildcard because he's not
Correct. That's
occupying
why I said
money.
if it's your fourth or fifth defender, if you have, it all depends on
Yeah.
the makeup of your squad.
Even if you sell a third defender down to Bradley, you have money to generate money for your third defender who's going to come into
Yeah,
play.
but then you
next
have to
week.
make another defensive transfer later. Don't spend transfers in defense. Spend transfers in attack.
Yeah, but that's something you're going to have to do if you're going to play 28 and 29.
No, that
Probably
just leave your defense with 0 points. Defense isn't
Fair.
getting points. Focus your transfers on attack. That's where the points are.
But that said, Bradley does have upside. In the last 2 or 3 or 4 games that he played, he got 1 or 2 or 3 assists, right? There's enough potential there to chance it if you fancy it. If he starts on Saturday.
I
The
guess.
upside is there. Upside is there. But I am sitting in the middle of you two. I just think you can't afford a dead spot at this stage.
Exactly.
When you have other blankers in 26, other blankers in 29. I mean, people are celebrating Charlie Taylor coming back from training like, Messi is, or whatever. Messi is coming to the Premier League. People want that last spot, that 11th player, even if he gets 2 points. So if you're buying somebody who you know is definitely going to be a dead spot, I don't love it that much, but I completely get also Eller's side. You want a 15-point defender. That's not Van Dijk this time. It's probably Robbo if he plays both. But if Bradley plays both, he's the highest upside.
You don't think Van Dijk is a 15-point defender? I think he, in fact, is the
He
one more
could be,
defender.
but bullet header you can't really plan for, right? Bullet header happens. Bullet header
Unless you're
can
an
happen
Arsenal
against
defender.
Fine, but even Van Dijk, I got him against Burnley, right? The team why we're all using this narrative that Burnley concede the most set pieces from headers. It happens less frequently than we think. So, bullet header, it happens. Assists happen a lot more.
I mean, if we get clarity that Trent is out for a couple of months, I can appreciate the Bradley thing still. But if we don't have that clarity, then don't you guys think it's just a liability to carry into?
Yeah, but then I'm not convinced. Essentially, if you don't have spots enough for 27, 26, etc., then apples versus apples, I prefer Arsenal centre back to Liverpool centre back, considering they play the same number of games combined in 26 and 27. 25 and 26 rather.
Correct.
Yeah. Because even in 28, Liverpool plays City. Arsenal's fixtures longer term are better. If I'm weighing that up against that up. Because Van Dijk in is likely going to be a transfer out or not much use in 28 and 29.
Anything more on Liverpool? The defenders, we talk about, there's somebody else?
Well, there's other defenders.
I just want to talk about, just generally also, Alisson will be back from the flu, but Liverpool's clean sheet potential also, they always require their keeper to save 2 big chances in every game. They do give chances to that opposition. It's not as elite as an Arsenal defense. So that's what I want to say also.
More than double the XGC. It's Arsenal's 3.27, Liverpool's 8.19, the same as Chelsea. When I saw that, I couldn't believe it. I always think Chelsea going to concede a couple every game.
Liverpool are going to get their opposition chances every game. So it's also that.
Because what's strange, when you look at the open play goal attempts conceded, Liverpool's 43 and Chelsea 69. But the XGC is similar. So Liverpool give up a lot of big chances, and that's where Alisson is so massive.
Yep. Keller did well though. He made a couple of big saves.
He's a very good keeper. Very good number 2.
Yeah. Right, now let's talk options and let's just call it others and present a case for them. Should people want to go elsewhere?
Let's spend a minute on Doughty. Give him a little before we rank. I just think people will look at 4 goals conceded and people will go, let's avoid Doughty. The guy is good. I mean, it's not a bad shout if you wanted to downgrade Trent to Doughty.
He created 9 chances in the previous game against Sheffield United as well. And I think you write off 1 goal because both those handballs were kind of rubbish anyway, right? You see him as an attacker. I think one thing you need to take in mind is that the price point is very important. If you spend 5.5 to 6 million versus you spending 4.5 million, that could be the difference in an easy route to Heung-min Son or not. Who is somebody you're going to want in Gameweek 27? So I think it matters how much you're valuing that price point as well.
Absolutely.
But Doughty is a good pick. I wouldn't expect clean sheets in this double though. I'm fully expecting both United and Liverpool to score against Luton Town. It's just that you have a defender in place that's a decent pick for 28 and 29.
Correct. That's
Correct.
the
That's
idea.
it.
And
That's
27
the
as well.
advantage.
27 Villa at home. You could maybe hope for something of a set piece. The double, both games are away. I don't like that a lot. Hopefully, the fixture in 29, if it lands, is decent. 30 is also not great. And I do want to mention that even though he created 9 chances, none of these was a big chance. Entire XA
Big
was something
chances.
like 0.3. So it's
Yeah.
volume of chances rather than quality of chances. And I prefer the latter.
Yeah. Like I was hot on him last week. Then next morning, immediately I had free time. I saw extended highlights for the last 4 Luton games. He wasn't as attacking as I thought he would be, where they play like a 3 at the back with 2 wing backs. In the game before last weekend, he was actually positioning himself at the back post a lot, but he isn't as attacking. He'll get like 5, 6, 7 open play crosses plus 3 corners every game. And maybe 1 chance a game at the back post if the ball doesn't land on Adebayo or Morris's head.
Anything else, guys,
Fair.
on Doughty?
No, nothing on Doughty. But let's just quickly go through other options. Brentford tick a lot of boxes where they have a double in Gameweek 25, albeit a tough one against Liverpool and City. After that, they play all the games till 29 combined. They've got 2, maybe 3 decent clean sheet fixtures in 26 against West Ham away, 27 against Chelsea home, and 29 against Burnley away. It's just, again, a coverage horses for courses pick. And, we spoke about Regs on the pod last week where he's a corner taking 4.5 million pick for a middling defense. I mean, they're 4th or 5th for XGC. Flecken's form has picked up. Maybe their defensive returns, clean sheet potential improves. What are your thoughts there?
Russ?
I just don't think it's a case of what you started the pod with, right? Are you solving for the chess move 8 weeks down the line where there's other points to take now? Like this week, the fixtures are horrible, right? I mean, you expect both clean sheet wipeouts without a doubt. And so what you're saying is I would rather play Porro or Gabriel or a Newcastle defender, or maybe not, maybe Trippier, over a double game week Regulion. So then what are you really going for is the question. Could you do it because your squad is set up in a way where you only need this player for 25 and 29? Fair, maybe. It's not a bad pick. There are some positives, but
it's for
it
somebody
just
like
doesn't-
you who's a double Arsenal defense owner where the team is sort of set for 26.
Yeah, but then I won't be making a defender transfer this week. If I had Trent as
Yeah.
well, maybe I could have thought about it.
Other shouts, I mean, I went to our friend Adam Hopcroft and I asked him, given Kamara's injury, would you buy an Aston Villa defender? No. He replied in 1 second saying, no, just don't buy Villa defenders at the moment because he expects that to have a drastic impact on that team at the moment. So, and I asked him who would buy. He didn't take Cash's name or Moreno's name or Dina's name. He said, if I'm buying somebody, it'd be Pau.
And we don't know if he's fully fit yet. He didn't get a minute last game. It's always risky to buy a guy
Exactly.
who hasn't had any minutes for so long.
Exactly. And Fulham are also scoring goals at the moment. So I think you see how they do without Kamara this week and then assess next week if you want to buy.
We are in agreement. Although they will be popular next week. I still think next week when people will want to do a defender transfer from their Liverpool guy or somebody who's blanking, maybe even a Porro, people might just say, chuck it because Villa are the best of the rest in terms
Yeah.
of teams that I want from now till 29.
Because 26 options are really limited in terms of who you can buy. Look at the fixtures here. Brighton play Everton, good game. Wolves, Sheffield United, Palace, Burnley, and Villa Forest. The other games don't really, maybe United, Fulham. But then again, you're worried about 29 in that case.
Yeah, but United is a good shout for a buy right now. Harry Maguire costs under 4.5 million at the moment. He's back to again being at the end of all set pieces. I do think we are decent. Not decent. I mean, we should have conceded 2 or 3 goals to Aston Villa that we didn't. But the fixtures, right? By the nature of the fixtures, before 29, you've got a Luton away, you've got a Fulham at home and an Everton at home in 26 and 28. And then you could have a Sheffield United at home in Gameweek 29 also. So there are 3 decent clean sheet fixtures. You won't be surprised if you keep cleans in 2 of them. And then you're hoping that you spike a goal with somebody like a Maguire or a Dalot. So I don't think United is a terrible shout. I think Maguire or Dalot, decent picks.
Who else?
Who else have we
And he's
got?
only
We've got Estupinan
and he's
Udogie.
only 4.2 million. So he
Yeah.
again saves you cash for a lot of things you want to do elsewhere. And I don't think Varane is back anytime before you're looking at wildcarding. I think he's a decent shout.
There's a few 8 Nuri enthusiasts in the chat. I don't think you need to go Wolves defense at the moment. I mean, their fixtures in 26 and 28 are fantastic, but then 28 also is the double, and you'll be tempted by another defender from either a Doughty or a Sinesi or something like that. So I don't think you need to go Wolves.
You're a Trippier enthusiast, Pras. Is he a buy now?
No. I mean, I've owned Trippier now for 3 weeks. I watched Newcastle games. Honestly, I cannot remember a time where a team has dropped in their core capabilities so badly. So badly. I mean, they're giving away chances for fun. Of course, you can always point to injuries. The Joe Linton injury is massive. But other than that, I mean, they should be, you can go from elite to okay. You cannot go from elite to bloody awful. And that's where they've gone. And, you can see every single game, they put a fast guy on Dan Burn and they basically make a through ball. The guy runs, Dan Burn can't cope up. And Eddie Howe doesn't change anything every single game. So I don't see a clean sheet. And this is the problem where Trippier obviously has got 2 goals and an assist. Sorry, 2 assists and a goal in the last 2 games. That's not sustainable. So definitely not a buy.
Yep. You shave off 4 XG. I think against Liverpool, they racked up XGC of 7. Even if you shave off 4, they're still bottom.
It's incredibly bad.
If it doesn't even take data. If you're watching even highlights, even if not the games, they're just giving 2, 3, 4 big chances a game. So that's the problem. One other team, Brighton, have good fixtures. Sheffield United away, Everton at home, Fulham away, Forest at home. I just don't see a pick there. I mean, Van Heck at 4.0, I think, or 4.1 million he is, against somebody that saves you money.
Just enabler,
yeah. Estupinan also, I'm not convinced about when he's going to play, when he's not going to play. Generally does better when Mitoma's on the pitch, though. But his injury record is a little iffy at the moment. Doesn't still look fully fit.
Minutes to look a bit better now that Hinchelwood is injured. Fewer options there.
Yeah. Now, if you're taking an off the radar, fits or horses for courses, maybe slight upside pick, then Robinson is somebody who just attacks from Fulham. Somebody who plays in 29 as well. Has got a couple of decent fixtures. Got Villa at home, Brighton at home, Wolves away. Thing is, they're not clean sheet fixtures if you're a Fulham defender. I think we're covering all the names that we had to. I think it's time to rank.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you guys start? I'll give it a go first.
Sure,
you guys don't mind. I think Arsenal defender first choice.
That's going to be mutual, I think, Plus. I think Arsenal defender is going to be common for all of us. Stop.
I'm going to go team dependent territory and maybe say Ake first.
Interesting. Sorry,
and then Arsenal defender.
Yeah. Zoff, we're not really looking at it because we've got KDB on our mind first. Like that's like the thing.
I just don't like the City defense, bro, because you don't get the upside guys, you don't get the nailed guys, and it's not like they're keeping loads of clean sheets.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of City defense.
Cool. I'll go with my 3 very quickly. Arsenal defense first. Bradley punt if Trent is out injured for a long time. Harry Maguire. Or Diogo Dalot. Dalot's got a good cross on him. Yeah, good cross on him these days. I don't mind that either.
Pras?
It's a difficult one to rank because it depends on your horizon and how your rotation. So I'm just adding those caveats. But basically, I'm ignoring the guys who play 26, 29. So I'm completely against Fulham, Brentford. So I'm going to go Ake only because the double and the upside. And if you need to move him on, you move him on. I'm not suggesting you play him against Man United and Liverpool. I'm going to go for Arsenal. I don't think that's a problem at all. In fact, if I can sub-rank it, Gabriel is number 1 above anybody because of his price and because of his potential. But I'm going to put Arsenal defenders as a category, and that for me is second. And then third is tougher. I agree with Elar that a Liverpool defender could have upside. So if you have conviction on Robertson starting both, fair. If it's Bradley starting both, then fair. So one of those two.
Fair enough. For me, it's right up there, like you said, the Arsenal guys. Number 2 will be Van Dijk. No defender has had more shots this season. And when Van Dijk, I think it's happened a couple of seasons now, when it's like London buses, they come in pairs. He scored braces multiple times. So I wouldn't be surprised either of these games he goes off. I like him there. The third one is where it's a little bit trickier. Villa may be one of the upside guys you could punt on. I still think Cash could get minutes over the next few games, but the entry point this week isn't great. 27, 28. The third gun, I really have some difficulty again going through all the options. I think just purely Reguilon because fixture play, taking set pieces, and in generally Reguilon just good at attacking. I want upside, man. I want upside in the defenders is a big thing for me.
Fair shot. I'm actually thinking Pras is a little bit in an enviable position because you sold Porro recently, right?
I sold Porro for Van Dijk. Got very lucky.
Yeah, like I feel like a little bit in terms of, let's just talk a little bit of Porro while we're talking about defenders. He doesn't seem as attacking in the last 2 or 3 games as he used to be. He's not joining the attack as much. And now Son is also back. Bentancur is also back. So the playmaking responsibility that was on him previously isn't there on him because you've got enough ball players. Maddison, Son, Richarlison's playing well. Bentancur is back. Sarr is back. Bissouma is back. All of them are back now. And they're not keeping clean sheets at the moment. Like, and I think Spurs is the team that's going to have the most interest in Gameweek 27, unless you're Spurs, Luton, and Bournemouth, the 3 teams we're probably going to talk about in Gameweek 27, as well as any other fixture that opens up after a FA Cup set. I wouldn't mind for that 27 to 29 role tripling on Spurs attack. Like if you ask me whether I think Maddison is going to be a better pick or Porro, Maddison's doing well. He's doing really well. He's a little bit of a differential that's going to do well once 27 comes around as well. So I think that's something you should consider now that you don't have Porro in place.
It is 100% in my plan. It's in fact written in my Excel sheet that in Game Week 27, Son will come in. So I'll have Son and Richarlison. And in Game Week 29, Maddison will come in. So I'll have the triple up for Fulham away and Luton home. That's the plan.
Yeah.
Of course, plans change, but that's at least the plan now.
Yep. Right, where do we head to next? Let's talk triple captaincy.